Welcome to lesson 2. Now, you may have been tempted to skip over this one because you think, you know what? Everyone talks about how to get better sleep. But maybe I have some ideas that you haven't even thought about. First, I want to explain why it's so important that you get steady, uninterrupted sleep. When you go to sleep, you may have learned that you actually have different levels of consciousness when you sleep. You may have heard REM sleep, rapid eye movement, and then there's alpha waves and theta waves. Well, in case you were unaware, the deepest level of sleep that you can achieve is called the theta state of sleep. When someone has had a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep, the cycle that they go through, it's different every time, but it roughly bounces between the first few levels. And if that sleep is sustained 3 or 4 hours, it may dip down into that theta level. And over sustained sleep that's 7 or 8 hours, it might do that 2, maybe 3 times. Why is that important? Because that deep cellular healing, the kind that takes you out of pain and heals your tissues, only happens when your body is at that level of rest. So we may think that we can get sleep in chunks, like, oh, I sleep 3 hours here and I sleep 4 hours there. But I'm telling you that that sustained sleep, sustained uninterrupted sleep, and that means uninterrupted by snoring, which can also wake you up, is really important for your healing. All right, so there's my lecture on that. But what do you need to know about actually getting good sleep? Well, you may have heard the term sleep hygiene, and there's a reason for that. Our habits dictate what happens to us, and our sleep habits are the most fundamental, intimate habits that we can develop. They say that rhythm replaces power. You know this if you've ever ridden a bicycle, that as you first start to ride the bike, it takes a lot of effort to get those pedals going, and you're just focusing on what your body's doing. But after a while, it gets a little easier, and then after a while, you're not thinking about your legs moving the pedals around. Now you're looking at the countryside, and you're looking at the lovely forest coming up and paying attention to the traffic, all those other things, because the knowledge of what you have to do drop down into that part of your brain that doesn't have to think about things anymore. The part of your brain that worries about your heart beating and your lungs moving and things moving unconsciously. When you have a good habit, it goes down into that reptile brain and you don't have to think about it anymore. How do I know that? Not because I read it in a book, but because about 20 years ago, I decided that I never wanted to be awakened by an alarm clock again, and so I developed a rhythm. I am usually asleep before 10 o'clock. If I'm not, it takes me days to recover now, but my body understands that there's a rhythm, and I would say every evening I could probably tell you when it's around 9 o'clock because I can feel it in my body. What that does is it gets my brain primed to actually go to sleep. So developing a rhythm is the first thing. Just choose a time. Don't go extreme. If you've been going to sleep after midnight, start to knock it back by 30 minutes every time. Maybe try a few days at half an hour earlier, a few days at a half an hour earlier than that. If you're hovering around 11 o'clock, just know that that's about the time that your body starts to reset. You may have noticed this yourself, that if you stay awake after 10 o'clock, that maybe to watch that other program on TV, or to finish the chapter in your book, or to keep a conversation going, that you start to notice right around 11 o'clock, your body goes, oh, we're going to stay up. All right, I know this game. And your body will keep you up. So basically, it overrides that, oh, we were going to settle in and do all this deep digestion, but I guess if we're going to stay up, we're going to stay up. So what that implies is that if you get to sleep before 11 o'clock, around 10 o'clock, chances are you will stay asleep for that crucial time that your body needs to repair itself. So the standard wisdom applies. If you're using electronics, stop using them at least an hour and a half before you go to sleep. If you find that you have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, stop drinking liquids at least 2 hours before you go to sleep. Just stop. Do your heavy drinking of water, everything in the morning, in the afternoon when your body needs it. Don't interrupt your sleep cycle because you have to get up and pee. Then think about the room itself. Remember, that room should be dark and quiet. So if there's light peeking through somewhere, see if you can darken it. Get some darkened curtains. Make sure that the room is not too warm. Crack a window. That fresh air can help you get better sleep. If you find that you are waking up because you're snoring, there's a great little tip that you don't have to go out and get a sleep machine or anything. If you're willing to try this experiment, take a little piece of paper tape, and I mean little piece. You don't have to tape your whole mouth across, but if before you go to sleep, you put a little piece of paper tape right here, it helps to keep your mouth closed, because the reason that we snore is because the jaw falls open and then you don't develop the pressure inside your mouth that actually keeps the back of your throat open. When you're breathing through your mouth, for whatever reason, you don't develop the pressure, it collapses, you get the snoring, and when you're snoring, you are not getting that deep, adequate sleep, and I can guarantee you that theta sleep does not happen while you are moving in and out of that snory kind of sleep. So take the time to unwind before you go to sleep. If music helps you, play some pleasant music. Some people find it real helpful to take the time to just lay down on the floor, like face down, and just let everything from your day just leak out into the floor so that you're not taking it to bed with you. Make sure that your clothing is comfortable, that it's loose, that you're not binding yourself in any way, that it's not too cold or too hot. Another way to wind down in the evening, especially if you've got real sore muscles, is to take a good long hot bath, put some Epsom salts in there, and just start to mentally wind down. If you've been real erratic with your sleep habits, start slow. You don't have to change big things. Remember, for change, you just need to change anything. The when, the how, or even the why. So getting a good night's sleep helps you to heal. So whatever you can do to get a better night's sleep is doing your body and your mind a favor. I hope this helps. Stick around for more lessons. Thank you for listening.